Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of FUT Champs Pack and Play. While the highlights run in the background, me and my man Murray have got a special high school related podcast for you, which we are going to hop into now. So, Murray, for this podcast, I think we're not going to analyse the team much. We might, depending on how long we talk for, there might be a couple of games worth of weekend leagues worth of highlights. So, as requested by some of our most loyal subscribers, they want us to chat about our high school experiences at St Andrews, which I'm sure if we had enough time to think about it, we could probably tell many stories. But
Sure, yeah.
For the purposes of this video, we will focus on just a few that come to mind. I remember going home almost every day from St Andrews, like just having a laugh about something that happened in the day. Do you remember that sort of thing when you were there, like every week having something to laugh about?
Oh yeah, it was a very eventful time at St Andrews. There was plenty of banter, some work, but not as much as the banter.
No.
Oh yeah, it's just boys being boys, classic. Just pushing people into lockers. Well, maybe more than that. But yeah, it was never a boring day at St Andrews.
No.
Even if you had double English.
Yeah, it's true. It was never dull. And yeah, I mean, I can imagine this COVID season, the locker bashing, like the non-social distancing would just be out the window. I can guarantee you there'd still be many people in lockers.
Oh yeah, you've got to restore the hierarchy in high schools. The year sevens need to be put in their place.
Or put in the bins.
Or put in the bins if they're small enough, yeah.
Did you ever see that? There was a couple I saw put in bins.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It's part and parcel of it.
I know. I think the thing is with St Andrews, like even just the day you join, you have to just learn how to get into the St Andrews way. You kind of like even day one, you're surviving. Like I was told by a year 11 I knew that the first day of school at St Andrews is beat up year 8 day. So I was literally just trying to survive the whole day and just avoid any sort of dodgy looking year 11s. Did you feel petrified in the first week or so with all these big lads around you?
Yeah, I mean, because when you're there, year 7, year 8, you haven't quite grown yet, and then there's 16-year-old, 15-year-old guys that are like huge, and it's so intimidating. Although I found by the time I was in year 11, some of the year 7s got incredibly cocky, and like they were absolutely tiny bags, almost as big as them, but they still didn't respect you for being year 11.
No.
But yeah,
some of them are balls.
For sure.
In that sense, yeah. I mean, even some of our youth now, like apparently, like a load of them in the young years just take on year 11s on the rugby pitch. But I mean, that's like 20v1 or 2, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, the year 11. I think year 7s they can be a bit cocky. Like even in my youth group, after some of the year 7s are so hyper and they gradually calm down a bit. But yeah, some other things I was gonna bring up was like some classics, Andrews, like the peanut with the ties. Did you ever get so badly peanutted that like you were literally taking an hour of the school day to try and undo it?
I think I was fortunate in that respect. Yeah. Did you get subject to an impossible peanut?
I had a few bad ones, but I could just remember some flashbacks now of like lads that were literally they had it done so hard that their like tie was pretty much half ripped, and they literally had to go to pupil services to like get a spare tie from lost property because there was just no recovering it. It was savage. I don't know if you ever had this in your year. There was a few lads in our year that started this thing called the Tasha. Judging by your lack of reaction, you probably haven't.
No, I haven't.
This was worse. So like these lads, they basically licked their whole finger or sucked their whole finger, and then like during lessons they'd walk up to you and just rub it across your tash and be like Tasha, and you just got this disgusting whack of saliva just all over your mouth.
Man.
And then that expanded to beard, and they literally like lick their whole hand and put it around your face.
Oh, that's grim.
It was. We had some ruffians in our year group, and yeah, that wasn't the most pleasant one.
In COVID times, that would definitely not fly. Well, it shouldn't fly anyway.
Well, no,
That's grim.
it was so wrong. But yeah, it happened. It happened in my French class. A lot of my funny times happen in French. Like, did you ever have Miss Chatterton?
Oh, I had Chatterton for years. Yeah,
Yeah,
she was. Oh, she was cracking.
absolute legend. Did she play the songs with you during, like, if she set you a piece of work, some of those wacky songs in the background?
Oh yeah, yeah. I still quote some of them to this day. They're stuck in my head.
Same. Yeah, we had one lad that was hilarious. He just like danced around the classroom while during the lesson, and she was just constantly trying to get him to sit down. And then there was one lesson he was like, "Right, I'm just going to try and get as many debits as I can," and because it was like the blue and the green list, wasn't it, of her? And every time you got put on the blue list, he was just like running around celebrating. And I did feel a bit sorry for her. It's like, what can you do when one of your most strictest punishments in your class is just being celebrated? But it was good fun. And then in this, like, I was even because I was thinking like assembly experiences, and if someone falls over in the well and everyone goes way, and just I was genuinely terrified going to every full school assembly just in case I stacked it on the stairs down into the well. Were you a bit nervous when you had an assembly from that point of view or not?
Yeah,
Were
I
you,
mean, there was one time in assembly, was always worrying about my phone going off in my pocket, and
yeah,
even if I double checked it was on silent, it was always a worry. And one time it did go off. I was in the well, fairly near the front, and it was, yeah, I got a message and it just beeped, and I got away with it. No one knew it was me, unless probably the people next to me did. But
yeah,
fortunately, no one heard it. But oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
those times going down to the well, being at the front, yeah,
Mhm.
it was bricking it.
Yeah. I remember there was one lad halfway through an assembly that like fell off his chair on the top of the well and fell into the well. And I think for the next 2 minutes, just everyone was laughing so much. And yeah, they had the kind of the guy leading I can't remember who was leading the assembly, but I think they had to let a bit of leeway to let people laugh because that didn't happen every day. Well, it did during break time, but not during an assembly.
Oh yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think that was a classic. I mean, fights. Did you ever come across a bad fight or?
I don't think I did. No, I heard of them. There was always, well, not always talk, but there was talk of fights, and I heard about them. But
Yeah.
no, I generally steered clear if I could.
Yeah. Well, I was the same. There was a couple I couldn't avoid. It was one time I remember it was the water fountains, right? And it's just like classic Andrews. Like, how would a fight start out of this? A guy was just drinking casually from the water fountain, and then he got a load of water in his mouth and he just sprayed it all over this chap walking past. Like, and then this chap walking past was like, right, that's it. And he just spat back at him. Like, and then just out of nothing, there's just this massive fist fight going on outside, and everyone's surrounding around going, fight, fight, fight. And there's like blood everywhere. And it's like literally from a water fountain. Yeah. And one sports day was the worst. There was this lad that there was I think some of the guys were sort of taking the mick out of him as he was running, and basically after he finished the race, he came over and he just flipped, and he was like basically trying to punch everything that moved. Like the teachers were getting pushed out of the way. There was like someone was trying to film it, and he like smashed the camera out of his hand. And there was this big teacher called, I think he was a science teacher called Mr. Hall. I think he did martial arts, and he ended up basically rugby tackling this lad to the floor, and had to pin him on the floor for the next like half an hour until he calmed down because he was like a genuine threat to people. Yeah, it was quite bad. We were quite grateful this teacher knew what he was doing because but it's just again at St Andrews, just a bit of banter all of a sudden turns into this massive situation.
Yeah, I think it certainly helped a lot of people get thick skins.
Yeah, I know. Um, but yeah, the only couple other things I had down on my sort of memory list was, I know you said you didn't have Floodgate, science teacher, because he was probably at the verge of retiring when we were coming sort of to the end of school or whatever. But I think did he even retire while we were at school? I can't
Might
remember.
have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
No, but yeah, his punishment was like if someone was talking in class, he'd go over and he'd get their pencil case and he'd tip it upside down and like snap all your pencil leads if he was really annoyed with you. And There was one, yeah. I was really OCD with my pencil case. Like I had so much stuff in it. I was always reluctant to share. And yeah, one lesson he got me, and he literally destroyed my pencil case. Like everything was out. He went about himself to snap every single lead he could find, take all the pen lids off, and I was like spending the next half of the lesson just like repairing my pencil case. But yeah, it was good fun. I don't know if teachers get away with that now.
Yeah, probably not.
I guess it's better than some of the old school punishments.
Yeah, but I bet that worked. I bet you shut up after that.
Yeah, well, because of my OCD, I didn't want to go through that again. And then, yeah, other than that, I just had some sporting memories. Where did you ever play dodgeball? Where if the half the team was out, and then you could get everyone back in again if you scored a basket. Did you ever play that?
Oh, I don't think so. That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, I had this one moment where, so it was like I think it was like 30 on a team or 20 on a team or something. I think we had double P with another class. And yeah, my whole team was out other than me. And there was like 15 lads on the other team. And I knew the only way I'm going to win is if I score a basket. And the basket was quite a long way away from the halfway point, which you couldn't go across. And yeah, I managed to dodge the few balls that pelted at me, and I managed to sink this long range basket, and my whole team came back in, and just the feeling of like all the lads running back, joining, going, "Yes, James!" And then we managed to get out everyone on their team and won the game.
That seems
it
absolutely
was
phenomenal.
It was one for the Snangy scrapbook. And there was one other time we played a hockey match against these guys who had won like the whole of the national tournament a few years back. And we had a friendly of them at St Andrews, and when they turned up, they were so cocky. They were like smashing borders around, and their coach came up to our coach and said, "Do you remember Mr. Bristow?"
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Bristow was our coach because he used to play hockey almost for England, and he came up to me and he was like, "Right, do you want to call the match early today? Like, do you want to just play half a game because in other words, we're going to smash you, so we don't want to make it too embarrassing for you." And yeah, our coach was like, "No, let's do it properly." Anyway, somehow we managed to win this game 4-3, and it was 3-3. And in the last minute of the game, we had a lad on our team who plays golf, and he basically just did this golf swing, and he smashed it in the back of the net from like outside the box. And yeah, we won 4-3 against. At the time, it was like one of the best hockey teams in the country, and it was such a fine moment. We all, as a bunch of lads, we just couldn't believe we did it. So yeah, that was another one for me. I know. I feel like we could talk for hours about St Andrews if we thought hard enough.
Yeah, for sure.
But I guess for the purpose of this podcast, it's probably about time we closed it.
I'd say so. Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for catching up about it, Murray. I hope the listeners have enjoyed.
I hope so too. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, and any other ideas like this? I thought this was a great idea. I guess we'd be up for having another crack. So, yeah, cheers, Murray.
Cheers. Thank you.